Hello everyone. So today's recipe is going to be caramel custard. This is one that was requested actually by my mom. So this is a recipe that my mom used to make a lot for me when we were growing up because I would refuse to drink milk, and that was the only way she could get me to drink milk. And so it's strange that times have turned and now she's asking me for the recipe. But so this is one that this is a recipe that after many permutations and combinations, I have found works best for me with the kind of molds that I have, with the size of the ramekins that I have. You need to find something that works the best for you. This is the quantity that I make when I have guests over. It gives me exactly six caramel custards. And again, I wanted a recipe that did not involve egg separation. I didn't want to use, three egg yolks and two whole eggs and do all of that permutation combination. I wanted to use whole eggs. So this is the one that works best for me. At the same time, I wanted richness. I wanted it to be a slightly silkier, richer dessert. So I use a combination of actually milk and cream, and you can choose what you want to make. Um, Again, making caramel custard looks it looks like a very complicated dessert when you see it, but it's actually quite simple once you start making it. The only difficult point is making of the caramel, but that again, once you start making caramel and you learn how to make caramel, it becomes easier. Caramel is something that, don't worry if you get it wrong. I mean, there's nothing, there's no shame in getting things wrong when you're baking or cooking. And a lot of people I know can get caramel wrong, but don't worry about it. And of course, that's just the custard after that. Custard is basically you're just heating up the milk, or the milk and the cream, and you're adding it to eggs, and that's about it. You add sugar, you add your flavoring, and then you bake it. It's at the baking time that, again, you need to keep a couple of points in mind. The temperature of the oven has to be right. You're baking it in a water bath, so it's very slow baking. You need to get that right. Let's get started. And if you have any questions, please feel free to write to me. A lot of you have given me, it's been so positive. A lot of people have written back to me that they've made cakes looking at the cake recipe that I had put out earlier. So these are simple desserts. If you have anything else that you want me to make and show you guys, I'm very happy to do it. So please let me know. And please try this out. Let me know how it goes. So the first thing that you need to do, as I always mention, with when you're baking or doing any kind of, especially when you're making caramel, just be prepared. Preparation is really key. So I have 3/4 of a cup of sugar here to make the caramel, a little bit of water which will be used just to help the caramel along. I've kept a brush which I will be using to just brush the edges of the pan when I'm making the caramel, so that the sugar doesn't burn while it's being done. The one thing which is very critical when you're making caramel custard is you need to keep your molds ready. So I have 6 ramekins over here because I make it quite regularly. I went and invested. Ramekins are not expensive. You can buy it and just keep it. There's many things. You can make a souffle in it. You can just use it as a katori if nothing else. So I use these a lot. And so this is the pan in which I'm going to be making the caramel. Caramel should not be made in a non-stick pan. You won't be able to tell the color, and it doesn't really work out very well. And you need to see a pan where you can, see the bottom as clearly as possible. And when you're starting off with making the caramel, you always start off with the sugar. So you pour the sugar into the pan. Okay. I'm very sorry if the camera is a little jerky. I'm doing this by myself today. And you need to add, you can make caramel just with sugar. That's a dry caramel, but that's much more complicated to make. Adding a little bit of water, to just kind of help it get along will kind of, it makes a big difference. So just add enough water to kind of saturate it. You don't add too much water, otherwise it'll take too long for it to caramelize. So you just a little bit of water. Just maybe a teaspoon or so, and that's it. You just need it to be saturated. So the one thing with caramel, which everybody will tell you, is that you do not touch it while it's being done, while it's being made. Don't touch it. Don't be under this thing of taking a spatula and kind of, moving it around. You're not making chashni, you're making caramel over here. But what you can do is, I'm switching on the gas, is actually, just to help it along initially is you can, just kind of, you can agitate it. You can keep agitating it as you go along. And because we started with a little bit of water, it will be easier. The one thing with caramel is never ever walk away. Caramel, when you're working with sugar, it's really hot, it's dangerous. and you never ever walk away from when you're making sugar. It goes from being sugar water to being a what is called a soft boil stage, hard boil stage, and then caramel really quickly. It won't take more than a couple of minutes. I'll get back to you when we are closer. I'm going to be showing you what I had kept the sugar and the the water and the brush for. So as you can see, there are some little bits of sugar that kind of are stuck to the edge of the pan, and the water kind of helps dissolve it a little bit easier so that those pieces of sugar don't burn. A trick that I learned recently was to actually put a closed lid on top of the pan, and when the steam forms, the evaporations, it kind of goes on. It makes the same effect. But I don't have a closed lid of this size, so I can't really use it. And you always make caramel on a fairly medium heat. You don't raise the heat too much, so medium to low heat is what you need to have. And as we get closer to the caramel stage, I'll show you what it looks like. See, you can see the sugar already starting to change color. So, and you'll notice that as it's changing color, the bubbles kind of get bigger and more spaced out. Let's put it at that. And at this stage, again, I still haven't touched the pan at all. I've just swirled it around like this, and that's about it. We are getting closer to the caramel stage. A lot of people might think that, we're almost there. No, we're not. Go a little bit further, because otherwise you won't get the really nice dark color and the flavor of caramel. Of course, there is a stage beyond which you get bitter. It gets bitter, so you have to be very careful. This is the color of the caramel. It has to be nice and, like a dark brown kind of a thing. And just pour a little bit of the caramel at the bottom of each ramekin. And you have to work really quickly because A, the sugar sets really fast, and secondly, it'll start to, the pan is still hot, remember that. So it might even get darker as you go along. And this much of sugar, which is basically 3/4 of a cup, which I've used, is just about enough for the 6 ramekins. If you're making like a big bowl, if you're making it in a bowl, I think even half a cup should be enough. I just feel that for 6 ramekins, this is the perfect quantity that I have found. If you have a little left over, you can put it in the other ramekins as well. And that's about it. And then you have to wait for the caramel to set before you pour the custard into it. So this will take about 10-15 minutes for it to set. So just wait before you pour the caramel into it. Okay, so the caramel has set, and what I have ready is boiling water in a kettle. Okay, that's important. Okay, because you'll need that for the to produce the steam in the oven. The oven is on and it's at 150 degrees. Just show you. So the oven is on at 150 degrees, and I have a pan ready. So as usual, keep everything ready. I have a pan ready to boil the milk and the cream. So what I use is a combination of milk and cream. I have 300 ml or 1.5 cups of milk, whole milk, and I have 200 ml of cream. I have a 1/4 cup or 50 grams of sugar, and I have 3 very large eggs. So this time I've got really large eggs, so I've used 3. Otherwise, I would have used 4. And then I have the flavoring. So I'm using vanilla, but you can use any other flavoring that you like. Orange is another favorite of mine. And what we're going to do, I will show you as we go along. The other thing that I have ready is like a strainer with a receptacle. This will help me. This has a little spout, so this will really help me pour the custard once it's ready into the molds. Okay, so I've heated up the milk and the cream over here. It should be hot but not boiling. Just remember that. I have the eggs ready over here. I've added the vanilla already to the milk. If you're using any other flavoring, you can use orange zest, you can use cardamom, you can use coffee. Add it to the milk at this stage. So the sugar goes into the eggs. You have to just break up the eggs a little bit. Don't froth them up. You're not trying to add volume over here. You're just breaking up the eggs a little bit over here. And that's about it. And then you slowly start adding the You have to slowly add because the remember that the eggs are room temperature, but the milk and the cream mixture are slightly hot. So add it in slowly, otherwise it's going to start cooking the eggs and you're going to have scrambled eggs. So add it in really, really slowly. Take your time at this stage. This is the only critical part of the custard. Take your time at this stage. I have added, half milk and half cream. So if you want, you can just keep it to all milk as well. You don't need to add the cream. I just felt that the cream adds a nice bit of richness to the dessert. And that's why I add it. Also, the sugar which I have added is like a 1/4 cup of sugar. You can increase that quantity. I know some recipes call for up to half a cup of sugar for this amount, but I just feel that because you're going to have caramel as well, once you invert it, there's going to be a caramel sauce as well. So then it gets a bit too sweet in my opinion. Now, if you can see, there's still a little bit of, egg white which might not be fully incorporated over here. Therefore, you strain it out. And okay. So and also putting into a receptacle like this helps you when you're pouring it into your molds. So you can see a little bit of the egg white which is remaining. That's what you're trying to avoid. You're trying to get a smooth custard. And then you pour it into the molds. And this goes into a 150-degree oven. I will pour the water that I have boiled earlier, which I showed you, the kettle that I have boiled earlier. I'm going to put the water into the pan, but I'm going to put it when this whole thing is in the oven. If you try and put it right now and then try and, transport it, a lot of accidents happen that way. This is just about enough for, maybe you could have add like a smaller, one more ramekin, but there's just a couple of tablespoons left over. That's about it. Okay, so I'm going to put it in the oven and I'm going to cover this with a silver foil and put it into the oven. The silver foil helps you, stops the custard from kind of caramelizing on the top, which I have found earlier. Sometimes it does tend to caramelize on top. And put it in the oven for about 40 minutes. I'll check it after 30 minutes to see if it is done or not. Okay, very carefully you add the water. The water has to come up to about halfway of the ramekins, halfway up the ramekins. Don't overfill this also, because then later on while removing it you'll have a problem. You can leave it open as well. I have done that earlier, but I just feel it's better if you just kind of put a silver foil on top of it. It kind of improves the cooking. So I am going to put a silver foil on top of this. Just to clarify, you don't really, close the whole thing with the aluminium foil. I've just like kind of loosely put the aluminium foil on top. That just stops from the top from being burnt. That's all. And into the oven, I'll check it after 30 minutes. So this is at 25 minutes. I thought I'll show you what it is like being undone. So this is like not yet done, it's moving around too much. It has to set a little bit more. I think it'll take about 10 minutes more. So at 25 minutes, I'm going to check after 10 minutes more. This is tricky, okay? Be careful at this stage because there's water, remember, in this. It's really perfect custard. So a little bit of a wobble, if you can see a little bit of a wobble, that's fine. Don't leave it in the hot water. It'll continue cooking in the hot water. Remove it immediately. Just as this tip, I've kept a tray ready over here. And transport the ones which are closer to the tray first. Otherwise, if you try to take this one, you'll have water droplets in the others. So you just with some kind of a glove or something, transport this immediately. Don't leave it in the hot water. And this needs to be put into, let it cool down at room temperature and then put it in the oven for at least 4 hours. Preferably this dessert should be made 1 day beforehand. So that's great in fact. You can just make it before and keep it. I will unmold it and show you what it looks like. As said, it's been in the fridge overnight. This is the next day. So you unmold it with a really sharp knife. Just go around very cleanly around the edge. Okay, and 1, 2. Ooh. Okay, and you will have some caramel left behind on the pan. The best way to clean this is we just wash it and really boil it in hot water. And Obitashi, you're gonna have this. Do you want some? Obitashi? Yeah? Okay.
Can we share?
Yeah, you can share it.
What did that is?
Okay. Obi, eat it.
Mm.
Bon appetit, everyone. Afiyat olsun.
It's yummy.